excited but natural English accent. The transfer market remains ablaze, and Liverpool have once again taken centre stage with a move that surprised even the most attentive supporters. After days of speculation and intense negotiations came the confirmation no one expected so late in the window. Harvey Elliott, a homegrown gem from Anfield and one of the most promising players of the new generation, is packing his bags for Aston Villa. The announcement, as has now become tradition, carried Fabrizio Romano's famous "Here we go" seal, which only fueled the buzz among Reds fans. This is not a simple loan. The deal includes a future obligation to buy, with the package valued at no less than £35 million. For many supporters, Elliott's departure feels like an emotional blow. After all, the 22-year-old attacking midfielder carved out a place in fans' hearts since making his first-team debut in 2020. He played 149 matches in red, scoring 15 goals and providing 20 assists, always with the vibrant energy and fearless daring of someone unafraid of the biggest stages. At the same time, the transfer opens a new chapter in his career. Villa, who have been consolidating themselves as an emerging force in the Premier League, promised to offer the youngster what he has long been seeking: regular minutes, a starring role, and the chance to shine in positions that make the most of his versatility, whether as a classic number 10 or wide on the right. On the other side, Arne Slot's team are clearly undergoing a deep rebuild. Elliott is not just another departure. He becomes the Reds' 11th exit of the summer, a figure that highlights just how determined the club are to reshape the squad in line with the new manager's philosophy and playing vision. And that, of course, creates room for new arrivals. In the final hours of the window, the hottest names on Anfield's radar were Alexander Isak, a heavyweight striker, and Marc Guehi, a promising defender who could add solidity at the back. The agreement between Liverpool and Aston Villa did not appear from nowhere. From the start of the window, there were rumours that Elliott was on other clubs' radars, but the Reds held negotiations until the very end, perhaps to ensure the deal was structured on their terms. Villa, meanwhile, seized the perfect opportunity to land a statement signing. With manager Unai Emery increasingly determined to elevate the team to greater heights, Elliott becomes their fourth major summer arrival, joining Marco Bizot, Victor Lindelof and Evan Gesand. And the spending spree doesn't stop there. The club are also on the verge of announcing Jadon Sancho on loan from Manchester United, underlining Villa's ambition to cement themselves among the elite. What is striking about this move is the bittersweet feeling it leaves for Liverpool. On one hand, it is impossible to ignore that Elliott had the potential to continue growing at Anfield. He was always seen as a piece of the future, one of those talents groomed to shine under the Anfield lights for years to come. On the other hand, the arrival of Arne Slot and the need to reshape the squad to compete across all fronts opened the door to this type of strategic decision. Selling Elliott for a significant fee secures funds and at the same time gives the player the chance to pursue the starring role that may have been harder to find at Liverpool right now. For the supporters, the feeling is mixed. Many lament the farewell of a player so connected with the club, who started so young and carried the hope of becoming a symbol of the next generation. Yet others take a pragmatic view. £35 million is not insignificant, especially in an inflated market. And Liverpool need liquidity to chase players ready to raise the team's immediate level. Aston Villa, on the other hand, celebrate. Elliott is one of those players who combine raw talent with early experience. At just 22, he already brings the baggage of competing in top-level tournaments, facing tough opposition and thriving under the pressure of one of the world's most passionate fan bases. The expectation is that his arrival will give the team fresh dynamism, particularly in attacking transitions, where his creativity and boldness could make the difference in tight matches.
Meanwhile, Liverpool quickly turn their gaze to the future. Elliott's departure is not seen as the end of an era, but as part of the natural cycle of a club that constantly seeks to reinvent itself. Arne Slot, new in the role, seems clear about the pieces he needs to mould the side in his image. Interest in Isak and Guehi is no small detail. These are players capable of reshaping the balance of the squad both in attack and defence. It shows the board's readiness to give the manager the support he needs to begin a new chapter of success. The fact is, this transfer window will be remembered by fans as one of the busiest in recent years. Painful exits, thrilling arrivals, constant rumours, and the persistent sense that something seismic could happen at any second. Harvey Elliott's departure, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano with his almost unerring seal, is just another piece of this electrifying puzzle that has kept Liverpool at the centre of attention. In the end, what emerges is a fascinating narrative. Elliott begins a new chapter in Birmingham, with the chance to become a leading figure in a project that grows with each passing season, while Liverpool write the first pages of the Arne Slot era, full of uncertainties but brimming with enormous expectations. The fans, as always, watch on through tears of farewell and smiles of hope, because in football, as in life, every ending is also the beginning of a new story, and this one promises to be unforgettable.
The Harvey Elliott saga had already left Liverpool fans in a whirlwind of emotions. The young midfielder's departure to Aston Villa brought that bittersweet blend of farewell and anticipation. On one hand, the sadness of seeing a promising talent leave Anfield. On the other, the certainty that the board, under Arne Slot's leadership, were not merely offloading players, but laying the foundations for something greater. And it didn't take long for the next chapter of this story to gain momentum. If Elliott departs in search of a starring role, another big name has now emerged on the Reds' radar to assume a crucial part in rebuilding the squad, Marc Guehi. The final stretch of the transfer window has turned into a true thriller for the Anfield faithful. While attention has largely been fixed on Alexander Isak, who could become the most expensive signing in the history of British football, the move for Marc Guehi runs in parallel and is no less significant. After all, what good is stacking stars in attack if the defence keeps leaving gaps that cost precious points? That is precisely the clarity Arne Slot has shown. In just a few weeks in charge, he has already identified the urgent need to reinforce the backline. Guehi is not just another name on the list. He is the top target to strengthen the defence, and Liverpool are confident the transfer will happen. The player, currently at Crystal Palace, has just 12 months left on his contract, which piles maximum pressure on the London club. Steve Parish, the Eagles' chairman, knows the risk of losing him for free next year would be financially disastrous, and has therefore been pushing to force through an immediate sale. Behind the scenes, word had circulated for weeks that he was actively trying to accelerate the deal, merely waiting for Liverpool to make their decisive move. From a sporting perspective, the timing could not be more critical. Supporters were already uneasy after some shaky defensive moments in the opening fixtures, and Ibrahima Konate's withdrawal against Arsenal, even if Slot calmed nerves by suggesting it might just be cramp, only heightened collective anxiety. The message is clear. Without a solid reinforcement at the back, the campaign could be at risk. That is where Guehi comes in, not as a supplementary option, but as a key piece to stabilise the defence and provide security to the new project. The English centre-half, already capped by the national team, brings attributes that fit perfectly with the style of play Slot wishes to implement. Quick in reading the game, strong in duels, and comfortable playing out from the back, Guehi offers more than simple protection of the penalty area. He allows the side to keep the ball, control the tempo, and build from defence. At a time when Liverpool are striving to reinvent themselves, having a defender of this profile could prove decisive. The process, however, is a race against the clock. The Premier League officially closes the window tonight, but Liverpool have an ace up their sleeve, the famous transfer sheet. When submitted before the deadline, this document grants an extra 2 hours to finalise administrative details, ensuring ongoing negotiations don't collapse due to lack of time. The expectation is that Guehi will undergo his medical in London, with everything lined up to seal his move to Anfield. For Crystal Palace, the decision was both practical and inevitable. With no indication Guehi would sign an extension, a sale now became the only way to avoid a huge financial loss. And it appears Steve Parish's pressure has finally borne fruit. Liverpool, even while focusing on completing the historic deal for Isak, have not neglected to secure this defensive reinforcement. It is impossible not to connect this move to the broader context at the club. After Elliott's exit comes the arrival of another key figure, this time one that brings excitement.
Supporters who only hours ago were mourning the departure of a homegrown star can now dream of a defender ready to step straight into the starting lineup and raise the team's level.
And all of this unfolds alongside the colossal expectation over Isak's signing. If the Swede is seen as the spark to ignite the Reds' attack, Guehi represents the composure required to ensure solidity at the back. Two sides of the same coin, two investments that complement one another, showing just how determined the Anfield board are to provide Arne Slot with a balanced squad capable of competing on all fronts. Ultimately, Liverpool's transfer window resembles a roller coaster. Tears shed over Elliott's farewell, adrenaline over the suspense surrounding Isak, and now renewed hope with Guehi's imminent arrival. For fans, it's that mixture of nerves and excitement that only football can deliver, because this is not just about signings and departures, it is the skeleton of a new team being built before their eyes. And if the clock is ticking against Liverpool, the supporters know that every minute could hold a surprise. Marc is on the verge of trading Crystal Palace Blue for Liverpool Red, and this move could mark the beginning of a new defensive era under Arne Slot. What seemed like just another last-minute deal may well become the cornerstone of a side that, even amid so much change, promised to fight tooth and nail to keep Liverpool at the top.